Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're diving into an incredibly powerful concept. We're unpacking the true architecture of wealth. And I use the word architecture very deliberately here because, wealth isn't just something you accidentally stumble into, no way. It's something you build piece by piece over time. We're going to dive straight into the source material for today's explainer to uncover how seemingly tiny, everyday habits, things you probably don't even think about, ultimately lead to drastically divergent paths in life. So get ready, because what we cover today might absolutely reshape how you view your everyday financial choices.
So here's a provocative question to kick things off. Why do most people stay poor? It's a heavy one, right? Or to put it another way, why do so many folks stay trapped in this exhausting cycle of financial struggle while others just seem to steadily build lasting wealth? Well, for the longest time, society has handed us this super simplistic and honestly totally flawed answer. We're told it just comes down to a lack of hard work. The whole just put your head down and grind harder and you'll get rich narrative. But the material we're looking at today explicitly debunks that myth. The answer isn't just they don't work hard enough. In reality, it's a massive complex puzzle made up of psychology, daily habits, financial knowledge, opportunity, and of course, time.
Okay, let's dive into this. Picture two kids at a starting line. One is completely laced up in these high-tech, carbon-plated running shoes, and the other is standing there completely barefoot. If someone tried to tell us they had the exact same chance of winning the race, we'd literally laugh them out of the stadium. It's obvious. Where we start matters immensely. But, and this is absolutely crucial for our explainer today, where we start does not completely predetermine the finish line. Every single year, millions of people manage to drastically improve their financial lives, and they don't do it by stumbling across some magic hidden secret. They do it by slowly, deliberately changing their everyday habits and decisions.
To really see how this plays out in the real world, let me introduce you to Adam and Noah. Think of them as our controlled experiment. They grew up in the exact same neighborhood, went to the exact same school, and they're starting out with identical entry-level salaries. Neither one comes from money, but neither is starting in extreme poverty either. They both just want a solid, secure future. Right now, as they cash those very first paychecks, their finances are identical. At this starting line, their lives look exactly the same. But over the next 20 years, their paths are going to completely separate. And the most fascinating part is that it doesn't happen because of one massive lottery-winning move. It happens because of hundreds, thousands of tiny, incredibly ordinary decisions. It usually kicks off with what we call the leaking bucket trap. We've all been there, right? You're diligently pouring water into the bucket, working hard for your money, but there's this almost invisible hole at the bottom just quietly draining it all away. It's that impulse buy at the checkout counter. It's that streaming subscription you literally haven't logged into since 2022. It's the slow creep of high-interest credit card debt. Now, on a random Tuesday, none of these choices feel like a huge deal. They don't seem financially devastating in the moment. But together, they act as this stealthy leak, quietly draining away all your financial progress over time.
And that brings us to one of the absolute stealthiest wealth killers out there, lifestyle inflation. What's really fascinating when we unpack this concept is how it taps directly into our psychology. It's that deep, almost irresistible urge to upgrade your apartment or buy a much nicer car the absolute second your paycheck goes up. It traps people in this frustrating state of financial stagnation. Why? Because our brains inherently trick us into thinking that making more money means we instantly deserve to spend more money just to reflect that success.
So watch what happens when both of our guys land a big promotion at work. Adam's reaction is all about instant gratification. He immediately takes that raise and translates it into a luxury apartment and a brand new car. In his mind, he's earned it, right? To him, spending that extra cash feels completely reasonable based on his shiny new salary. But then you have Noah. Now, Noah isn't living like a monk in a cave. He's still enjoying his life, but he intentionally sweeps a chunk of that new raise directly into his investments before his lifestyle even has a chance to catch up. They both get to enjoy the fruits of their labor, but only Noah has built the habit of consistently paying his future self first.
It really comes down to the classic farmer's dilemma. Think about it. Do you feast on all your seeds today, or do you plant a portion of them to guarantee you'll have a crop tomorrow? This brilliantly illustrates how every single dollar flowing into your bank account is basically a seed. It can really only do one of two things. It can buy you comfort today, or it can be planted to create opportunities for tomorrow. The true architecture of wealth is entirely about finding that sweet spot, that sustainable, healthy balance between enjoying your life right now and securing your freedom for the future.
But it's not just about how you spend your cash, it's also about how you spend your time. We call this the invisible teacher concept. Picture an average Tuesday evening. Adam is completely lost in the infinite doom scroll on social media. We've all done it. But Noah, he trades just 30 minutes of that scrolling time to read up on financial strategy.
budgeting, emergency funds, compound growth. Now, neither of these choices is going to change their bank account balance by Wednesday morning, obviously not. But stretch that over a decade? Noah is quietly building an impenetrable shield of knowledge. That learning habit doesn't magically create cash out of thin air, but it acts as a massive defense system, keeping him from making absolutely catastrophic financial mistakes down the road.
And that knowledge directly impacts how they handle the double-edged sword of debt. Adam sees credit cards as a magic wand to subsidize his impatience. He wants things right now, and he lets high-interest consumer debt quietly choke out his cash flow. Every single payment he makes is literally stealing cash he could be using to build his own wealth. Noah, on the flip side, treats debt purely as a strategic tool. He only leverages cautious, fixed-rate borrowing when it mathematically makes sense to build his net worth over the long haul, like financing a modest mortgage or getting an education. It's unmanaged consumer debt that quietly delays your financial freedom.
Then there's investing. When it comes to the markets, Noah understands the two trees metaphor. Consistency beats perfection every single time. He waters his financial tree systematically. He automates his investments every month, totally ignoring whatever scary apocalyptic headlines are on the news. And Adam? Well, Adam is sitting on the sidelines in cash, endlessly waiting for the perfect time to invest. A time that, let's be real, mathematically almost never arrives. The lesson here is huge. Being consistent in the market will always beat sitting around waiting for the stars to perfectly align.
All right. Let's fast forward 10 years. Things are really starting to speed up now. Neither guy is an overnight millionaire, but the math behind their lives is diverging violently. Noah's early investments have started snowballing. He's actually generating returns on his returns. Compound interest is stepping in and doing the heavy lifting for him. At year 10, Adam finally decides he's ready to invest. But here's the problem. His income is already chained down by a decade of bloated lifestyle choices. The friction for him to even start is massive because his huge car payments and credit card minimums are eating up all his spare cash. Time is incredibly generous, but it heavily rewards those who start early.
Now, I want to pause here for a second because we need to be real and acknowledge the broader playing field. The truth is, not everyone gets Adam and Noah's clean, level starting line. We have to look at this impartially. Systemic barriers, unemployment, sudden devastating medical bills, or severe economic instability, these things mean that effort alone does not guarantee a straightforward climb to the top. The source material is very clear on this. Building wealth is undeniably much steeper for some folks. And acknowledging that reality doesn't take away from personal responsibility, but it does serve as a sobering reminder that opportunity plays a massive role, which honestly just makes optimizing the things we actually can control that much more critical.
So the crucial point is what happens at the 25-year mark. By now, the gap between the two is just insurmountable. Adam finally looks at his friend's incredible financial stability and just has to ask Noah what his big secret is. And Noah's answer? It's beautifully boring. He says, "There wasn't one. I avoided unnecessary debt. I kept learning. I invested consistently. I didn't try to get rich quickly. I gave time a chance to help me." It's a profound wake-up call for Adam. That massive life-altering wealth gap wasn't the result of one lucky crypto bet or a massive inheritance. It was built slowly and quietly through thousands of incredibly ordinary everyday decisions.
If we distill the source text down, it hands us a remarkably simple architecture to follow. You don't have to wait for a massive windfall to get started today. You just plug the leaking bucket. Save a little. Spend a few minutes a day being your own teacher. Automate your investments to keep watering that tree. Treat high-interest debt like a loaded weapon instead of a convenience. And above all else, stay patient. Lasting wealth isn't a lottery ticket, it's an architectural blueprint made up of small, thoughtful choices.
So here's the final thought I want to leave you with. Your financial future is rarely decided by where you begin. The barefoot runner can still cross the finish line, but they have to actually start running. What really matters is the direction you choose to keep moving in today. Within the realm of what you can control, small, consistent improvements make a staggering difference. The true architecture of your wealth is being built right now, today. So, which single financial habit are you going to redesign first? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. If this helped realign your perspective at all, I'd warmly invite you to share it with someone who is building a better future of their own. Catch you next time.